Happy 4th of July, everybody. This Stiletto coming at you from the Wild Wild West. Well, where's my co-host? I know she's around here somewhere. There she comes. There she comes. There's Juno. What you doing, kiddo? That's my girl. She must say happy 4th of July to everybody. Happy 4th of July. And I don't really have nothing to talk about. I just really just wanted to say happy 4th of July. I know I made a video in a couple of weeks now almost. And the reason being is that just working a lot and have a lot of things going on. I'm trying to save up some money to buy a home. And so I haven't been purchasing any knives or anything lately. So I haven't really had a whole lot to talk about. But anyway, I just want to get this out there for you guys to just let you know that I'm still around. And I probably will only get maybe a couple more knives this year, people, because I really want to save up for this property that I want to get. I'm thinking about moving out of state. And so I just want to get myself prepared for that. So my knife purchases will be cut way back. And so I won't be doing that many reviews on new knives. There's two more that I want to get that I have on pre-order. And that's the Spyderco Military 2 and the Mayhem. So those will probably be the only two that I'll probably be two other knives I might purchase this year. And if they come out with a Magna Cut Tonto from Demco Knives, I would get that one too. But if those knives aren't available, then there's really not anything else I really I'm that interested in where I feel like I just got to have it or whatever. But anyway, what do you think, Juno? Want to make a video? Huh? 4th of July, huh? We've been hearing firecrackers and M880s and cherry bombs and kids running up and down the street. It's been noisy around here, huh? Yeah, it has. It's been noisy. It sounds like World War II outside. Yeah, that's my girl. So anyway, I just thought I'd talk about like the knives I've been carrying this year and how much I like them, the ones I like the most. But anyway, you gotta get down now, sweetie. You want to get down? You just want to stay on the table? Now you gonna let me make the video? That's my sweetie. That's my sweetie. Okay, kiddo. Why don't you get down? There you go. All right. And so this is my rotation drawer, and these are I sort of separate them by my the triad folders I like, and the folders that are funner to carry because they're easy to open and close. The easiest to open and close, the ones I like to carry the most. And as you all know, I like to carry these kind of knives to work all the time. These are pretty much like motorcycle knives for me in the city. The 4-inch blade knives, 3.5, 4-inch blade knives are knives that I carry in the city because we have a length law here. It's not really a law, but anything that's over 4 inches, they can consider to be a dangerous weapon or something like that, and they can confiscate it from you. So I try to stay under the 4-inch, the supposed blade limit, even though it's not really in law. It's not really a law, so it's not like you can go to jail if you got caught with something that's a little bit too long or something like that. But they do have the ability to confiscate it from you. I'm sure if you wanted to, you can go fight it in court and all that kind of stuff, but I don't do that. I'm not going to go to court over a knife. It's too, number one, court costs cost too much. It's just not worth it. Knife doesn't cost that much. And the hassle and the time away from work and all that kind of stuff, it's just not worth it to me. So I just try to stay within the limits that the police like to see you carrying or whatever, or don't want you carrying more than. When I get on the highway though, that's, whenever you're outside the city limits, California doesn't have a limit law on blade lengths for pocket knives. They do have limits on whether or not you can carry a switchblade. You're not allowed to carry a switchblade, I guess, unless you're law enforcement or something like that. And you're not allowed to carry concealed fixed blades or any kind of gravity knife, a knife that's made to be a gravity knife or whatever. Even though you can open up all knives pretty much with a little wrist flick and a little bit of help with gravity or whatever. Those aren't gravity knives. What they're talking about are knives that you just push a button and the blade will fall out if you hold it down to the ground or whatever. That's a gravity knife. And what else can I talk about? Anyway, I just hope everybody's doing good out there. I'm not going to say where I'm planning on moving to yet because there's a couple states that I'm looking at, and I don't know which one I'm going to move to. It'll probably be the one that I can get the best deal on a house for. And I'm going through all those kind of stages right now. And so I'm just trying to build up my bank account so I have money in the bank. So, you know, my bank account looks good and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I'm going to hold off on buying new knives and stuff like that. Anyway, people, let's get into these. Number one up, my favorite triad folders to carry when I want to carry a heavy duty knife. This is the one I like to carry when I want to carry a real heavy duty knife. The Cold Steel SR1, 4-inch blade. It's got a saber flat ground blade, American Tonto blade with a flat ground tip. G10 handle scales. The liners totally encompass the lock bar mechanism or the lock bar pins and the pivot. The rest of the handle is all G10, American G10. It's made pretty much like these knives are made, only this has a triad lock. These have titanium liners that encompass the pivot and the locking mechanism. That's how this one's made also. Absolutely love this knife. Highly recommend the SR1. It's one of my favorite knives of all time. I've been carrying these for a long time, ever since they came out. I prefer this one over the lightweight version or the budget version. Nothing's wrong with the budget version. I have several of those. Those all work perfectly fine and everything. I just like the blade steel on this one better. The budget version has the 8CR13 MOV, I think it's called, the Chinese steel. And I prefer the American CPM S35VN over that for a pocket knife. And I'm sure, you know, the 8CR13 MOV would be just as tough probably or whatever. I don't know. But I just prefer the American steel. Maybe I'm a little bit of a steel snob. I don't know. I just not big on the Chinese steels. I can't say that. It's like, but I'm sure they will cut and do everything that this one can do too. Maybe not hold the edge as long, but I'm sure it's just as good. And those have the Grivix handle scales as opposed to the American G10. So I just like this one better all the way around. I like the American G10 better. I like the blade steel better. Other than that, they're the exact same size and exact same dimensions. And the other one you can get for like less than $50 lots of times. You know what I mean? And this one is usually around 150, like in between. It depends on where you get it from and whether or not you're getting it on sale or not. In between, let's say like 125 and 175 at some places. Some places it's higher, some places lower. But it's an excellent knife. You guys seen me baton with this one. You've seen this one's done a lot of stuff on the videos, and it's perfect. Nothing's wrong with it. Perfect. The edge never got damaged or anything. Excellent knife. Just crisscross. Next one up. And this is my favorite. This is my favorite out of all my pocket knives. Purple Haze. This one's Purple Haze. It's not Purple Rain, it's Purple Haze. Oh, wait a minute. There's another one that should be in here too. It reminds me of Purple Rain, the one that's actually in my pocket today. Let me put this one in here too. Now 80-20.5. I love that one too. But this is Purple Haze. Y'all saw me make this one. Did several videos on me polishing it and making it and putting it as parts. It was originally an orange knife like this one with orange G10 scales. I swapped out the G10 scale, the orange G10 scales with these purple G10 scales I purchased from Demko Knives. John Demko is the one that makes these scales. The backspacer is aluminum backspacer that I polished, and it came from Original Goat. These have titanium liners. They encompass the locking mechanism and the pivot. This one also has skip bearings in it, and a Lynch Northwest titanium pocket clip, stonewash top pocket clip. Originally, this blade was stonewash. This is a knife that I purchased used on eBay. It was kind of beat up when I got it. I think you guys remember the pictures of it. And that's the reason why I just polished it all the way out and put a new edge on it and everything like that. and it's turned into my favorite pocket knife. My favorite pocket knife of all time so far. And this one, oh, we're going to crisscross, I forgot. And this one right here is my American Hunter. My Cheetos Orange American Hunter. Absolutely love this one. It's another knife I really love. I think I forgot to include it in one of my favorite videos of my favorite folders. But this is one that I actually do really love a lot. It's got the G10 backspacer. Oh, wait a minute, maybe that's aluminum. I take it back. I think this is aluminum backspacer, people, because it feels cold to touch, like metal does. Yeah, it's aluminum. So it's got aluminum backspacer. I've never polished these or anything like that, so I didn't know for sure. And it's got American G10 orange handle scales. It's got a saber, slightly hollow grind. I don't know, I'm gonna call it a flat ground blade. But it feels like it's got a little bit of hollow in it. I'm trying to see. I don't know, I'm gonna call it a saber flat ground blade. That's a really good knife. S35BN, CPM S35BN blade steel. And this one has, I think it's a 4.8 millimeter thick blade. And this one is looks like a 3.5 millimeter blade thickness. Let's check it out. Just to make sure. This will probably be a pretty long video, people. I'm just gonna take my time on it. I'm enjoying the holiday. You guys can pick whichever part you want to watch. I'm not gonna try to rush through it or whatever. Okay. Oh, it's 3.8 millimeter, 3.85 millimeter. So it's thicker than I thought. 3.85. Excellent knife. Just for measures, I'm gonna just see how much this one is too. 4.77, so 4.8, same thing. This is an excellent knife. To me, it's sort of got like the same blade shape like a American Lawman or a the super heavy duty one, the 4MAX Scout or the 4MAX. Sort of got like the same blade shape. You know, it's meant to be a hunting knife. A hunting knives are usually better off when it doesn't have a blade that's upswept, like a Bowie blade or Persian style blade. You sort of want a drop point. Drop points, my experience, you know, work better for, you know, like cleaning animals and doing things like that. Excellent knife. It's an Andrew Demko design. All of these knives up here are all Andrew Demko designs. Every one of them. Okay, next one up, another Andrew Demko knife. This is the one that John Demko built for me. It's a knife that had up and down blade play when I bought it from eBay. As you guys know, I bought all my, except for one of them. One of them I bought from a friend, but all the other ones were purchased on eBay. The one I bought from a friend was a brand new one. This was another used knife I purchased on eBay for a very low price. I love fixer-uppers because it's easy to me to fix up a knife. And this one was originally sharpened by Apostle P. It's got orange G10 handle scales. It originally had grivery scales on it. I can't remember what color grivery scales it had. I think they were yellow. I think this one had the yellow grivery scales. And it had up and down blade play, and I contacted John Demko at Demko Knives, and he told me to send it in, and I sent it in to him. And while he had it there, I asked him if he had, I think I either wanted the the natural JG10 or the orange scales. I think that's what I asked him about. And he told me that he had orange G10 scales. So this is before they had it on the website where they were listing the scales and stuff. They were selling the scales on the website. And so I told him I wanted the orange cheetah ones, because I love the color orange for pocket knives. And so that's what we did. He put the orange ones on. He sent me back the yellow ones too. I still have those. But he fixed up and down blade play by replacing the shark fin. The shark fin was slightly damaged. I don't know what the person did with it before. Maybe they were weight hanging on it or batoning with it or something. I don't know what they did, but they damaged the shark fin. And by replacing the shark fin, took out all the blade play, no up and down blade play or anything like that, and it's been perfect ever since. I carried this one all last year pretty much. This was like my favorite knife last year, was this one. And it still is one of my favorites because John Demko is the one that built it. I didn't build this knife, John Demko did. And so it's kind of special to me knowing that his own hands touched it and worked on it and made it right. And it's got the shark's foot blade. My other one's a Bowie blade, or Bowie blade, depending on where you live, I guess, how it's said. And these blades are 3.3 millimeters, or 3.2 or 3.3. Let me zero out. 3.24. As opposed to the thick ones that are like the regular 80/20s, the heavy ones. I like these. To me, this is a perfect weight and size. These weigh in about 5.4 millimeters. I mean, not 5.4 millimeters, 5.4 ounces in weight on the scales. And to me, that's like a perfect size for a pocket carry. Because it has that nice solid feeling. It's got a little heft to it. It's got the solid feeling, but it's not too heavy and it's not too bulky. Whereas this one sometimes can be too heavy. Same thing with this one. This one could be too heavy sometimes too. But these are just a perfect size to me. I think these are perfect. These are my favorite 80/20 series knives so far that I've tried out. Or the 80/20S models. All right, next up. This has to be my favorite triad folder for, I don't know, maybe the last 2 years. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it's just so easy to operate. This is the 8010 Tonto. I absolutely love these. This one I've modified by polishing it all out and stuff like that. And I've carried this one a ton of times. I probably carry this one and this one are these two are my two triads I probably carry the most. I absolutely love this knife, people. It is so easy to operate. The lock bar tension on it and everything's perfect. It's like super smooth. I highly recommend this knife, the 8010. All my 8010s are really nice, but this one's the nicest, the one with the Tonto blade. I don't know why. Sometimes, when in the factory, when Cold Steel's making stuff, some series of knives just come out better than others. And I don't know if it's because maybe they get finished better or maybe the parts fit together better or whatever from the factory. But this is one of those knives where, to me, it's a perfect knife. It's a perfect triad folder. Absolutely love it. And it's fun to fidget with because it doesn't take any effort. The only thing you have to worry about on this one, when you fold it back in, you got to make sure you put your finger up high because it can bite you a little bit. Just a little bit, though. It's not like it's going to bite you super bad, but it can bite you a little bit. Just got to be aware of that. I just love it because it's so easy to operate. It's a joy to carry. All right, next up, let's go to Spyderco Town. I love my Spydercos too, people. Spydercos, I've just been getting into them. Like this was one of the first Spydercos I ever bought, and this is the one that I bought recently, this year, and then modified it. I absolutely love my Spydercos. This one's been all polished. Polished all the parts on it. And it's got the fly titanium ball cage on it. And it's got, what do you call it? Custom scales on it. I'm trying to think of the name of the scale company, people. I'm going blank on it. I think it's bladescales.com. It might be something simple like that, like bladescales.com. But this has got the Natural J G10 scales on it. Absolutely love these scales. And the plug I got for the lanyard hole, I got that off at SD. This is one of my favorite knives too. But the only thing bad about this one though, it's really just a right-hand knife for me, because it's hard for me to use it with my left hand. And the reason being is that in order to use this one, when I open it and close it, I put my finger on the pocket clip, and that's how I sort of hold it. You can see what I'm doing here. And that's how I hold it when I open it. And you can't do that on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, because there's nothing to hold on to. And so it makes it harder to, it's not so bad to open, but it's hard to close it, because now you need something that you can get leverage on, so you can pull back on the ball cage. So I really just use this one with the right hand. That's the only downside to that one. Next up, let's get into the Recons. Recons. Absolutely love these. Now this one, I don't end up carrying that much. Even though I really love it and everything, all that. It has, the 6061 aluminum backspacer, orange G10 scales, American G10 scales. It's got the new DLC finish that's like a flat black, or a matte black or whatever, DLC finish. A saber hollow grind with a flat round tip, just like they've always been made. But I just don't, and I did put a custom pocket clip on it for deep carry. I set this one up to be a work knife, not to be really a motorcycle knife, to be a work knife, like these are all work knives. But I just always end up carrying these over this one when I go to work. Can't lie, people, I gotta tell you the truth. So this one's not super fidgety because it hasn't been carried that much. But I still love it. I still love it. I love the shade of orange on these handle scales. They're beautiful. I think this one has the best shade of orange out of all the orange ones I have. I also have an orange 4MAX Scout that I purchased this year too. It's not in this drawer because it stays in my my weapons bag. Well, next up. Like I said, this guy S35 VM blade, 4-inch blade. What else can I say about it? Oh, it's 3.5 millimeters, so it doesn't pop out real easy. And the reason, because I keep all my blades super tight, people. I don't have loose blades. None of these knives have side to side or up and down blade play. They're just loose they just get loose from me using them all the time. So you can always tell the ones I don't use a lot because they don't flip out real easily. Okay. 3.41 millimeters. I think they call it a 3.5 millimeter blade stock. This is the one I carry a lot. And I've always carried these. It's like one of my favorite knives to carry for a motorcycle knife in the city. This is my small Towel Wars. Those are my two favorite knives to carry in the city. I probably carried this even more than the Towel War. Absolutely love these. Because I love the ring on them. Without the ring, they're not my favorite knife. I would like the Towel War more than this one without the ring. And when you put the Snaggletooth MF ring on these, they think they call it a cog ring, with the Snaggletooth on it, it makes an awesome knife for a self-defense knife, if you ask me. Because the cog ring allows you to have more reach. I don't use it like a karambit knife. I'm not a karambit knife fighter. I'm not a knife fighter anyway, period. But things I use for self-defense are things that I can use. I know, I have confidence in using or whatever. And that with the cog ring, this extends my grip, just like on like a extra large Talwar, or a Espada, or a extra large Voyager. I could extend my grip and give myself go from having almost 5 inches of reach, blade reach, from grip to tip, to 6 inches. Gives me another inch. So this, and I've always been told that a 6-inch to 9-inch knife is like the best knife, knife blade. A 6-inch to 9-inch knife blade is the best to have because of reach and penetration. Sure, you're only going to have 4 inches of penetration, but I've also learned that, from research and stuff like that, not from experience, but from research, that most people, when they get in a knife fight and they stab somebody, they only actually use like the first 3 to maybe 4 inches of the blade, even if the blade is longer. Because you don't stab all the way in, you stab and you pull back and you get ready to stab again. So you tend to short stab a little bit. And so most people only stab from 3 to 4 inches. So a 4-inch blade is like a really good length of blade, if you ask me, especially if you live in an area like I do where they got a blade limit. It's something to think about. You really don't want to go, from all the things I've read and learned and on eBay and different places or whatever, you really don't want to go smaller than a 3.5-inch blade for self-defense purposes, because then you start to lose your penetration ability. Because you want to be able to stab deep enough to do damage. You just don't want to stab into, like if you're going up against a fat person or something like that, you just don't want to stab into the fat. Oh, I know I'm getting gross again. But you want to have the ability to stab deeper if you need to. Like the shorter blades, they take a lot of technique. You have to know where the arteries are, and you have to know how to get to the arteries in a fight, under a duress situation, and all that kind of stuff. And it just takes a lot more skill to use a shorter blade. Shorter blades can be used also, but that's for the people who really know what they're doing. And I just picture myself, if I got in that kind of situation, I'd probably be scared. There's probably a lot of fear going on and stuff like that. And I would probably just do what I had to do, without really thinking about if I'm going to hit this artery or hit that artery or whatever. I wouldn't be like playing chess while I'm fighting and stuff. I'd just be doing what I could do. And so I like having a little bit longer blade myself. Because if I feel like I got to use one of these things, it's because my life is threatened. It's not because I'm mad at somebody. It's because my life is threatened. Because I've been in fist fights and stuff. I ain't even worried about getting in a fist fight, but if somebody's trying to kill me, you got to do what you got to do. You get that person off of you. And that's why I look at knives or guns or any kind of self-defense, lethal self-defense tool. I always believe in doing less than lethal things first if you can. Use some spray or whatever. If you have spray on you, pepper spray or mace or whatever you want to call it, bear spray, not beer spray, but bear spray. Beer might work too, but you want to use some kind of less than lethal tool, like like a Cubiton or some kind of blunt force object or whatever. Even blunt force objects can be lethal too, though. But but if it comes down to a knife or a gun, it's because my life is threatened, and I feel like there's nothing else that I can do. I got to do what I got to do to protect myself, because I'm not trying to die for somebody. Because I don't pick fights, so I try to avoid fights, people. I'm not that kind of a person. I don't pick no fights. If somebody messes with me, I don't believe in getting bullied either. So that's just me. We all got to do what we got to do. But this is one of my favorite all-time favorite knives to carry for self-defense. Like when I'm out not at work, I always like to carry this. This knife gets probably carried the most. I have all these knives in this table when I'm not at work. In the city, that is. If I'm going outside the city, that's my XL Voyager is probably the most carried knife, my XL Voyager. It's like this, only longer. All right, next up. Wait a minute, did we skip over something? Did I go from here to here? Because I think I left out, yeah, I think we messing up here. I'm messing up. This is my first Spyderco. Absolutely love it. Carried the mess out of this one. I still carry it because I just love it. And this year I put these scales on it from bladescales.com. These are the micarta scales. These have the smooth G10, fairly smooth G10 scales. It's always had the titanium ball cage in it because I put the titanium ball cage in it when I first got it. And it has the matte finish DLC coating. Spyderco's matte finish DLC coating. And this year I put in an aluminum backspacer also that I got off of eBay. I think that looks really nice on this knife. Adds a little bit of weight to it though, makes it a little bit more weight, handle heavy. But I just like the way it looks. I'm a person, I like backspacers. I know a lot of people like to have open backs. And that's how this one was before it had an open back. Open backs are cool too, but I don't like every one of my knives being open back. This one has an open back. And that's how this one was originally too, but as you see, I put a backspacer on it. And to me, sometimes backspacers just give it a little bit more of a finished look. I don't know, it's just a personal thing that I like. I tend to like backspacers. Maybe it's because I'm old-fashioned. All the knives when I was growing up had backspacers. But this is an excellent knife, people. I love these Manix 2XLs. I don't really care for the smaller one because it doesn't fit my hand right. But the Manix 2XL has the exact same handle, if you ask me, as the 8020S model, my favorite knife. The 8020S model, one of the reasons why it's my favorite knife, because I could use this easily with either hand. It doesn't matter what hand this one is in, I can still use it easily. Whereas I can't do that with this one. This one's only good for one hand with me. But I love it. I love it though. Next one up. SOG time. This is the SOG I got this year. It's my SOG Pentagon. I absolutely love the Pentagons. And this is just like the 8020S. I could use it easily with both hands. Gotta get my little wrist timing there together. And I'm not a left-handed person, so if you see me doing something with my left hand, that goes to show you that, even if you're not left-handed, you can do this. So if you are left-handed, it's really easy to do. So this like the 8020S is a truly ambidextrous knife. You can swap the pocket clip to either side. Comes with G10 scales. I got this one at Midway for like 87 bucks. When I bought this one, it was like $175 or $80 or something like that. But they got the gray ones for some reason. Maybe the gray color is not that popular. But you can get the gray ones for like 87 bucks usually at Midway. That's where I purchased this one at. It has a CTS XHP stainless steel blade, which is a really good stainless steel if you ask me. And I love the dagger profile of it, even though this side's not sharpened. It does have a sharpened tip though. Excellent little self-defense folder if you ask me. And with this one, the one thing I like about it, it has an axis style lock. I forget what SOG calls their I think it's called the XR lock, which is like an axis style lock, and it also has a flipper. So even if this lock was to give out, it's not going to easily just fold in on your hand because the flipper, stops the blade from folding. I'm sure with a whole lot of pressure, it could still fold in on your hand, but but at least you get a little bit of warning. This is another knife I would highly recommend. Absolutely love these. This was the first one that I got. This one came straight from the sawed factory. I had purchased 2 of these when I first got them, and they were both hitting the backspacer when they very first came out. And I had never. This is like the first series of SOG knives I've ever purchased. I'd never owned a SOG knife before, but I saw this knife. I just had to have it because you know me. I love the style of it. And so when I got mine, they were hitting the backspacer. I contacted SOG. They told me to send them in, and then they sent me 2 more back and got my name on it, Stiletto. This one's perfect. And so I don't know what the issue was, but I've noticed that I haven't heard anybody complaining about that. So I think they might have fixed that issue right away. Absolutely love these knives. Carried the mess out of this knife. Still do carry it. One of my favorite smaller knives. See, it's not even really a small knife. I think the blade is like 3.6 inches in length. And blade thickness is, I think, 3.2 millimeters. No, it's 2.99 or 3 millimeters. 3 millimeters thick. So it's a little bit thinner than this one. And the blade length, just a little bit over 3.5 inches long. So it's probably legal with most people in most people's home areas that they live in. And the weight on it's really nice too. I think it's like a little bit over 4 ounces. Let's say 4.7 ounces. 4.7 ounces. Nice weight on it. It's just a really good looking knife too. I like this grip because it's good in every grip. It's a good self-defense knife, if you ask me. And it's a good EDC knife too for everyday cutting chores. Next up is my 80-20.5, my new one for this year. Actually, it's not a new knife for this year. I purchased this a couple years ago when they first came out, but I modified it this year with the Fly Titanium scales and a Lynch Northwest pocket clip and original goat backspacer, brass backspacer, starting to get all kind of tarnished looking. It's the Gimp, I think they call it the Gimp backspacer. And Flytanium thumb studs, brass thumb studs. This one has the DLC finish and Oz 10A blade steel. Absolutely love it. It's a great little, I just want to carry a little knife, like, you know, if I'm going to a company meeting or something like that. I don't never even want to carry something this size. I'd rather just carry something this size in case somebody asks, you know, saw it in my pocket or whatever. I just show them just a little knife. But that's the purpose of this one for me, because you know me, I always like to carry. I don't never like being unarmed. I always like having that extra, you know, little bit of safety in my pocket. And so that's the purpose that this one serves. Let's see if I can arrange this so I can fit it in here. G10 scales. This is the Peel Pie. Purple. I call it Purple Rain G10. G10 scales. Absolutely love it. This one has full stainless steel liners, and so the stainless steel liners sit inside of the G10 scales, and you can't see them. See a little bit of them right here. But they go, it's a full length stainless steel liner. Absolutely love it. I love the Shark Lock, people. I definitely want one of the new Mega Lock folders too, if Andrew Demko and John Demko ever release those into the scene. Next up is another one of my new favorites, the Atlas Lock Engage. Atlas Lock Engage. Oh, did I tell you how thick this one was? Let me see how thick this one is. I think it's a 3.2. Let me zero out. Yep, 3.2, a little bit over 3.2 millimeters. Next one up is the Atlas Lock Engage. This is a thicker blade. This is a 3.8. This one says 3.87. It's almost 4 millimeters, 3.9 millimeters. Fairly thick. And I don't know if I did the thickness on this one either. Let me check up. .16. I think they call it a 3.2 millimeter. Let me zero out just to make sure. Yep, same thing. Okay. Atlas Lock. Totally ambidextrous knife, just like the 8020S and the SOG and the 8020.5. Totally ambidextrous, easy to use with either hand. Absolutely love it. This one though has developed a little tiny, minute, so minute I don't even really give a crap about it, but up and down blade tick. Just a tiny. Side to side it's solid, but up and down it's got a little blade tick. And I noticed that if I push on the lock bar like this, the blade is gone. So I think it's the spring. I think the spring might have, weakened up over time because I've carried the mess out this knife. As you can see, it's one of the knives I carry. It's all polished. Internally, externally, it's been all polished. Absolutely love it. It's got G10 handle scales, S35VN blade steel, and the price on these has really dropped. If you go to Midway, I think they sell them for like 124 bucks now. I think when I first got mine, it was 169 or 79 at Midway, and that was when they first came out. And I bought 2 of them. This is the one that I use. The other one's totally stock. And but the new ones, so now that they got them going for like $124 or something like that at Midway, and you can get the fancy one with the carbon fiber scales and CTS 6HP blade for like $165 or something, like $164 or something like that. And those, when I bought mine at Midway, I bought one of them, and it was $199, I think, at Midway. I think I got just one. I might have 2. I can't remember. I think I bought just one. And it was a special edition one because they were numbered and everything. And now you can get them for $164 at Midway. I think that's an excellent price for that. I think it's an excellent price for this knife. You got 3.5-inch blade, 3.9 millimeters, let's say 3.8, 3.9 millimeters thick. It's the exact same size as this one, as far as the blade length is concerned. The only difference is that the 8010 has a longer handle. And the reason why it has a longer handle, it's not because it's giving you more grip space, because if you look here, the grip space is the same. So it fits the same size hand, but the lanyard hole on the 8010 is in the rear portion of the knife handle, the lanyard hole. Whereas the lanyard hole on this one is in a different position. It's more forward. And so they were able to make this one a little bit more compact than the 8010. But to tell you the truth though, I don't know, I just like the way the 8010 feels in my hand better though. Because I like the contoured handle scales, and just, I don't know, that just got maybe a little bit bigger handle. But it just feels more comfortable in my hand. But the reach of the blade is the same. The 8010 has more cutting edge because this one has a finger choil in front of the finger groove. Or the finger guard. Yeah, it's a finger choil on it, so you could choke up on it, and this little piece that's cut out right here fits your thumb perfectly. So it's a great little utility knife. It's a great little, everyday carry, everyday use knife, if you ask me. It's not lightweight though. It's got a little bit of weight to it. It's not a Demco knife. It's a GSM cold steel knife that was created by their knife makers or the people who designed their knives for them. But it feels very much like a Demco knife. 6.5 ounces. The 8010, 7.1. Is that 7.1? Yeah, 7.1 ounces for the 8010. But these are both very nice knives. This one feels like a small, little bit smaller version of this one. I don't know, they feel a lot alike in hand. To me, they feel a lot alike. But this one I prefer though. I prefer the 8010 over this one. But as far as like fidget factor, this is definitely a lot more fun than the 8010 though. And just like the 8010, it's very easy to use. It's a great little knife. The lockup on these are really strong. I think they held, what was it, 500 or 625 pounds with this one? Or something like that on a test video that the Stickman did for GSM Cold Steel. But it's an excellent knife. I highly recommend it. It's got full stainless steel liners, whereas the 8010 has 6061 aluminum heat treated liners. This one has steel liners in it. And they advertise as being, stronger than triad folders, ounce for ounce, the ones that were in the same weight class. But I think the triad folders are better, if you ask me, as far as strength is concerned. Because I've seen this one on Gideon's tackle, when he batoned with it, he created a whole lot of up and down blade play. And I'm sure because it wasn't because of a spring, but this has like a lot of parts in it. And I imagine if you damage one of the parts, you probably will get some real up and down blade play. The up and down blade play in this one I have in it now, I think it'd be corrected with a new spring that goes inside. They use a coil spring that rides on the inside of it right here, just like a shark lock. And the shark locks, I've worn out coil springs on the 8020.5s because when I first got those, I was carrying the crap out of those and playing with them a lot. But Demco Knives offers replacement springs for these. If you do get a little up and down blade play, you just replace the spring and that takes care of that. But this one right here, though, it had some damage. The actual shark fin, or the shark lock mechanism, they call it the shark fin, or the lock bar, was actually damaged. And so that had to be replaced, and they took care of it. That's the only thing I don't like about the new Cold Steel Company, the GSM Cold Steel Company, is that they don't really do warranty stuff no more. That's my experience. I tried to get them to fix my Towel Wars. That's the only knife I've had issues with the Towel Wars. And they wouldn't do it. They refused to do anything because they said I purchased it on eBay. The old Cold Steel Company was not like that at all. They always warranted their products. It didn't matter where you purchased them from. If it was their product, they would warranty it. Anyway, I always tell people nowadays, don't depend on the Cold Steel Company to do warranty work for you or anything like that. Just make sure that when you purchase one of these knives, you purchase it from a legitimate dealer, like an online store like Midway or Knife Center or Smoky Mountain Knife Works or White Mountain Knives or someplace like that, you know, or DLT Trading, you know, one of the known and respected and authorized dealers for cold steel knives. And keep your receipts, and when you receive the knife, make sure it works right and performs right. Because sometimes, you know, when things are mass produced in factories, not everything's always right all the time. It doesn't mean that it's a bad knife or anything. It just means that you got one of the bad ones. And so, you know, you just need to send it back in and get a replacement for it. Doesn't mean that the knife style or knife design is bad or anything like that. Just sometimes in factories, they don't make everything perfect all the time. And so that's what you got to do. I absolutely love these knives. Cold Steel is still making great knives. It's just that they don't have a great warranty service and customer support no more. That's the area that they're lacking in. Everything else they're doing fine. If you ask me, I think they're making beautiful knives still. They've done a couple of things I wish they'd do a little bit differently. I wish the Warcrafts didn't have hollow ground blades, because I like those better with the 3V Saber flat ground blades with the flat ground tips. Personally, I like the Andrew Dimko Warcraft better than the GSM Warcraft. I just never got the 12-inch Andrew Dimko Warcraft with the DLC coating and all that kind of stuff. And the flat ground blades with the Saber flat ground blades with flat ground tips and in 3V. I think to me that's the ultimate 12-inch Warcraft would be one of those. Not like the ones I have. The ones I have are the Sam Mai ones with the Saber hollow ground blades with the flat ground tip. Those are beautiful knives too, though. But to me, a Warcraft is supposed to be a knife that you could use for wood crafting. You could use it for survival. You can use it for defense. You should be able to use it for just about anything you had to use it for an apocalyptic situation without having to break on you or get damaged or whatever. And in order to do that, I like the 3V steel better, and I like the Saber flat ground better with the flat ground tip. That's my personal opinion with the fully exposed blade tang and the G10 handle scales. I'd never got one of those. That's what, you know, every once in a while, you know, that happens like that. You know, ones get past you that you put off and you think that you're going to get it later, and then before you know it, it's discontinued and you can't get it anymore because they're all sold out. In the secondary market, they're too expensive, so I'd leave them alone. So I just end up not getting one. That's why you guys see me get, a lot of times I'll buy doubles of things, because I've broken things before in the past and stuff like that, but I still want one. And last time things get discontinued, you can't get one no more. So I don't know. I'm a little bit of a knife nut too. You know what I mean? I must admit, I'm a little bit of a knife nut. I absolutely love these. Both of these knives are really great knives. I just like this one more. This is my favorite one out of the two. The Andrew Dimko one. And Andrew Dimko is coming out with a new triad folding lock that he has patented already, and he's been putting them in the 8010 models so far, but they're just so expensive. They're like over $1,000. They're more expensive than a shark block knife. You know, because the only way you can get one is to get one of those custom ones. They're not mass produced. They're all totally custom from his shop in Moncton, PA. But this one's custom enough for me though. I don't need to spend $1,000. I'm happy with this one. I noticed on his new patented triad lock, but this triad lock on this one works really nice. Like I said, it works better than any of the other triad lock knives I have. It's just what you call drop shutty. Is that drop shutty? And this one doesn't have any blade play at all on it. And I've carried the mess out of this knife. It's probably one reason why it is so drop shitty though too, because it's been used a lot. And I always tune and lube it, keep it clean, keep it freshly oiled and greased. Excellent knife. Highly recommend the 8010s, whether you like the drop point blade or the Tonto blade. I have 2 drop points because I got the original hollow ground one, then I have the one that has a flat ground, the one that you can get now. But they came from the original Cold Steel Company. This is the only one I have that's from the new Cold Steel Company, and this is the one I like the best. That's what I mean, you know, they're doing a lot of things right. I noticed that the new Voyagers that I have operate a lot nicer than the old Voyagers I have. The only thing they messed up on was the Towel War, XL Towel Wars. I haven't purchased one of the new small 4-inch Towel Wars. I love those knives too. And the reason being is that I have a whole bunch of small XL Towel Wars. I really don't need one. I didn't really need the XL Towel War either. But, you know, I'm happy with the ones I have already because the one I've used the most is the one that I originally bought was the Oz 10 one, Oz 8 one. And that one is so smooth and perfect. It's like this knife that, you know, I'm not even trying to get another one because it's totally polished out the way I like it. And I know I would still carry it over a new one. So me getting a new one, especially with as highly priced as they got them, wouldn't be really a good way to spend my money to me because I'm happy with the ones I have. Excellent knife, people. But when it comes down to self-defense, if I want to carry self-defense folder, that's not the one I'm going to carry. It's this one. This is my favorite self-defense folder to carry. Super lightweight, super strong, and it has all the features I want in a self-defense folder. And the other thing that's great about the cog ring, it makes it easier to deploy out your pocket really fast. You just like boom and pull it out. And you can set it for reverse, so when you pull it out, it comes out like this. So it's an excellent knife. Absolutely love these. This is my favorite self-defense folder out of any of the folders in this box. This is my favorite heavy-duty knife out of any of the folders in this box. As you guys see, I like Tontos. You know, I'm not shy about that. I let people know I like Tontos. That's my favorite knife. I love Tontos. The American Tontos, should I say? The Lindsey Thompson Tontos. But that's about it for today, people. I hope everybody's having a great 4th of July. I know my area is going to sound like World War II. It always does every year. It freaks out Juno. She doesn't like all the noise. Freaks out Juno. She'll be up there hiding, you know. She gets scared and she jumps up on the bed by my head. Because she knows Grandpa protect her. But anyway, people, have a great 4th of July. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Peace. Stiletto.